are about to do a step-by-step video on how to set up the Intex Ultra XTR, and this one here is the 18 foot by 52 inch pool, which I'm sure they'll be the same no matter what size they are, especially if it's the Ultra XTR. But what y'all seen me doing out there, yesterday we had to get a lot of dirt and sand to get this area built up where he wanted this pool. And I was double checking my elevations, and I'm using a laser level to do that with. Now this pool here, it come with the tarp, you want to call it a tarp, ground cloth fabric to go on the soil before you put your pool liner on there. Now if you buy a pool and it don't have a liner like that, I would strongly suggest you buying a tarp or either some 6 mil, something like black plastic 6 mil, what I put under mine, because that's what I had on hand several years ago when I did it. But I would strongly suggest putting something under your pool. Don't just set that liner straight on the soil. So right here where I live down here in the south, we got what I call chick grass. And chick grass is kind of like a little monster of the grass. I think it would grow in a bucket of gasoline if it gave it a chance. Now I don't know if it'd grow in a bucket of gasoline or not, but that's some tough grass, and it'll grow anywhere, and it will grow and cause your liner to get a hole in it and leak. But anyway, I got my liner on there. And if you're putting up a pool and you have to put sand under it to build up the area or whatever like we had to do here, which he's going to come back and put some more around the edges and build him a walkway and all that. This is just to get the pool erected and set up. But if you'll wet that sand, this is wetting for the last couple of hours before I put this tarp on there. It'll help compact that sand. Because sand, when it's dry, when you walk out there putting your pool up, you steady going to be leaving impressions walking on it. Now there's still going to be impressions left in this sand, and you're going to feel it in the bottom of the pool. It ain't going to come out as hard as walking on slick concrete or a slick floor. Because you got to get out there and walk around and do stuff, and you are going to leave little impressions in there. The main thing you ain't going to want is to leave no wrinkles. So right now I'm going to turn y'all around, and we're going to get under this shade, because it's about, I don't know what the temperature is, but the heat index has got to be getting close to 100 today. Feels like it anyway. I'm going to turn y'all around under the shade, and we're going to look at this pool, the picture of it, the parts to it. That way when I'm out here erecting it and showing y'all, you'll already have an up-close view of each part and know what they are when I'm putting it together. So let's turn around here in the shade. Alright guys, the first thing I done is got everything out of the box. Unwrapped all the plastic off of everything and got everything laid out here. So what we're going to be putting up today is the Intex Ultra XTR. This one here is the 18 foot round by 52 inches. Now it says easy lock system, easily snaps together with push buttons. Easy setup, quick assembly with no additional tools. I like that part. 53% stronger frame, 50% tougher liner, and it says a 2-year warranty on pool liner, frame, and filter pump. Y'all can see there's a picture of it. The ladder, I've already assembled the ladder. Didn't even have to look at the directions, so that ain't gonna be in the video. It basically just snaps together until you get to the end. It's got 4 little screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, no, it's got 8 little screws. But you're gonna need the ladder to set the pool up, because once we get it set up, I'm gonna have to start running some water in there, and you're gonna see me put about a ½ inch of water in there, and I'm gonna have to get in the pool in my shorts and get in there and push and smooth that liner out. Like I said, you ain't gonna want no wrinkles in the bottom of that liner. So that's why I went on and got my ladder assembled. So we're gonna need it. This pool comes with a cover, the pool liner, the pool frame, and the ground cloth tarp, I call it, because that's what I just put out there on the ground. And it comes with the crystal clear sand filter pump SX2100. Now, I ain't started assembling that yet, but after we get the pool set up and start filling it with water, then we'll get over there and we'll start assembling the pump. But guys, this is one of the simplest pools I ever seen. When you get it out of the box, your framework's gonna be just like this. You can see one smaller slid into the other one. That's just for packaging. But you take it out, and the bigger one here is shorter in length, but it's bigger round. You can see it'll go over the other one. It's actually gonna be your top railing right here. Then you got these T-pieces. So first we're gonna be assembling, roll our liner out, get it twisted to where we know where we want his pump set up. We're gonna get it all twisted around there where your inlet port and your outlet port will be on the side we want it. And then we're gonna start sliding these top railings through that liner on top. Then you got these T-pieces. This is all you got. And when you're putting them up, you go stick them in there just like that, guys, and they snap in place. That's all it is to it. Once we get all them in, then we'll start picking up on the liner, and we'll put our legs in place. I don't know if y'all can see that. I'm gonna do it upside down here. But then we'll slide in there, and you push the button, and they just snap in place. So now I'm gonna turn it over so y'all can see. That's what it'd be like. The only other part you got to setting this pool up is the little feet pads that goes on the bottom of your legs, your uprights. Now guys, being we had to build this ground up so high out here, and this is the same thing I done on my pool several years ago, which is not an Intex pool. It's one of them Coleman pools, and I attach a video above if you want to go watch it if you got one of them style pools. But putting that sand and building it up so high, I didn't feel comfortable with these little legs. I was scared they may settle over time. So I took these stepping stones, and at each leg, after I get this pool erected, I'm gonna come back and put these stepping stones in under them legs, which will have to be kind of dug in to get them to the level they need to be. This is gonna take longer to do than erecting the whole pool. But now my pool's been there for 3.5 years or something other, and it ain't settled none. So unless you putting yours out there on flat ground like they showing right here, I would suggest putting something like this under your legs and digging it in. If you're on good, hard, compacted ground, and you didn't have to do no leveling with no fresh dirt and fresh soil, then you might get by without these. So I think that's about it. We finna get out there. First I'm gonna get the liner around here, get it out there, start getting it unfolded, get it twisted around the way I want it to go, and then we'll get started on erecting this pool. Now it said somewhere on here erecting this pool only took about 60 minutes. Well, I don't know what point they starting at, timing that, but I looked at the directions for over 30 minutes, And it took me 60 minutes to unbox all this stuff and get it out all the plastic that it's wrapped in. So apparently they ain't including that part on erecting this pool. And they sure ain't including the part of having to do any dirt work. Alright guys, with the help of the front end loader on my little tractor, cause that liner right there is heavy. One man can't hardly tote it, not a little man like me anyway. But I got it around there, now I'm finna roll it out. That's what y'all gonna see me doing, rolling the liner out. And I'm 100% sure when I roll it out, it ain't gonna be in the direction I need it, and then I'm gonna have to spin the whole dadgum thing around to get the ports where I need them. That's what I'm working on right now, is just rolling the liner out. Alright guys, I'm gonna look at the temperature so I can tell y'all the temperature. But y'all see when I rolled that out, it was just dang near the opposite of where I needed the inlet and outlet holes. So I had to spin it all the way around. But the more time you spend right now getting the wrinkles straightened out, the better off and easier it's gonna be once you start putting water to get them wrinkles out. And this high heat today really helps with that, even though it's killing me. But I'm finna go over here and sit down under this fan and take me a little break. And then when I get back, we'll continue. Alright guys, the next step, y'all see when I'll take a break, I went on and laid all my beams, my legs, the tees, and the leg caps. Just kind of spaced them around the pool. Now this is an 18-foot pool, so it's got 18 beams, 18 legs, 18 tees, and 18 leg caps. But I'm gonna get y'all out here up close and show you where you start by sliding your beams into the pool liner. Put a T on, slide the next beam in, put a T on, and you work your way around one direction. Now it is better if you got two people, especially when you come to the last piece. But hey, I'm all alone, and like I always say, when there's a will, there's a way. We're gonna get her done. So I'm gonna get y'all out here and I'm gonna show y'all what I mean by slide it into the liner, put your T on, do the next piece, and then I'm gonna continue on and probably have to take a break or two in between doing that. I'm hoping this camera's picking up out here in this bright sunlight. It don't matter where you start, but when you pick the top of your liner up, you're gonna see these little U cutouts. You just start at you one of them. Take your beam. And try to get it in there and slide it through. Once you slide it through, take you one of your T pieces. When you put it in, make sure the snap snaps out. Y'all heard it pop. Popped out in that hole. And don't do what I just did. I put that T on backwards. The pool's round like this, so it's got to go on curvature like that. The first one I stuck on here, I stuck on wrong. So maybe I won't do no more. After you get that T-piece on, get you another beam, slide it into the next section of the liner. Don't get rough with it. Take it easy so you won't tear your liner. You get it in, stick it on the T-piece. Sometimes you got to take your finger and push in on there to get it started. Push in on that little pin, and you heard it pop in place. Now guys, that's what I'm going to be doing all the way around the pool. Once we do that, then we'll come back and we'll start putting the legs on. Now the legs, you got to remember, it's got a band on the side of the liner. You got to stick your leg through this. I call it a band here. You got to stick your legs through there before you snap them in place. If you don't, you have to unsnap them and redo. So now I'm finna continue on around the pool and see if I can get all the beams and the T-pieces put in. Alright guys, we got all the beams and T's in. Y'all seen when I put that last one in, I had to go back, spread it out, take up some slack, and then I had to pick up on it to get it to latch in place. Now we're going to start putting the legs on. Now what I'm going to try to do is stand it up and put one leg on, and probably skip a leg, and do that all the way around, since I'm doing this by myself. We're going to try and see how it works anyway. But when you're putting the legs on, they just snap in, but you got to remember to put them through that little loop in the side of the liner first before you snap them in place. Again, I don't know how this video camera's picking up in this bright sun, but we're going to see if we can hold this up. Stick the pole through this little loop. I think it's so hot out here, guys, it's wanting to melt and stick to it. Then I'm going to put my foot on. See if I can slide this up. This ain't wanting to slide good at all. Maybe after I get the first one, the rest of them will be a little easier. There it is. Guys, when you put the legs on, make sure that the top is the one with the little hole in it. The bottom don't have no hole where the foot goes. You'll spend your time putting it through that loop, and if it ain't the top with the hole facing up, then you have to take it out of that loop. half of them, guys, but it's time for a break. All right, guys, I got the legs all on. And Papaw's been having to take a lot of breaks. I can't deal with this heat. Guys, it's 94 degrees. Heat index is up there around 98. But what little bit of breeze it is today is coming from the west, which the house is blocking. So I ain't been getting no air. So even doing them legs, I had to just do a couple, come sit down a minute. You'll do a couple, come sit down a minute. I can't take the heat. Right now I'm gonna go around and just kind of stand my legs up, make sure they stood up straight. I'm gonna pull that, see that white stripe? That's the liner that them legs can slip through. I'm gonna pull it up, kind of get it even. And we're gonna take the water hose and start putting water in it. I'm gonna put about an inch of water in it. And then I'll get in there and we'll push the bottom out, try to get the wrinkles, get the bottom pushed out as far as you can, and then come back and stand the legs up straight. Make sure they're all the way up straight before we continue with water. Then while we're filling it with water, then we're gonna install the little valves that goes on the ports on the other side. There's one thing I want to show y'all. When you go to fill your swimming pools, it's right over there on the ground. When you go to fill your swimming pools, if you'll buy you one of them water hose inline filters, you can get them like at Walmart in the RV sections, or you can order them. Guys, when I done my pool, our water's so bad they've been working on the lines, and when I filled my pool up, it looked like tea. The bad thing is I had one of these and didn't even think about putting it on my water hose. So if you don't remember anything I say, get you one of them filters right there, unless you know you got some good clean water you filling your pool with. Now back when I put up my pool, I filled my pool and it looked like tea. And the sad thing is I had one of them filters hooked up to my outside sink that all I'd have had to done is screw my water hose on it, and I wouldn't have had it. I ain't gonna say to keep it crystal clear, but it wouldn't have looked like tea. So right now I'm gonna straighten them up, and then I'll come back and get y'all, and we're gonna go around there and put the valves on while getting some water in the inside. Another thing, guys, before you start filling with water, make sure your drain caps is on, and on the inside of the pool they got plugs that plugs in. Them, the caps was on, but they was not tight at all. After this gets about an inch of water in it, I'm gonna get in there, like I said, and get my wrinkles out. Then I won't have no more water going in it, because I'm going to put them stepping stones up under them legs, and I'm going to have to cut that part, put them in there so I can dig them in to get them flush level. That's going to take a while. Alright guys, this here is your valve. It's going to go on your big hole here. This is your inlet. The water will be coming from the sand filter pump, returning back to your pool. Some call it the inlet. I call it the return water. And it comes with this little piece here that was screwed right there, but you got to have this off in order to unscrew this part. Then unscrew this part with the valve. And when you unscrew it, there's going to be a white O-ring in there. Do not lose that. I'm going to set this on the ground, the valve part. Then from inside the pool, you got a black O-ring here. That goes on the inside of the pool. Make sure it's on there. Stick that through the hole. Right here where this little valve goes, where you start the nut. But where this little valve goes, that's a pressure relief valve is what that is, I think. Make sure that's pointing up, but you can't put it on there till after you put this nut on there. Now, good hand tight usually is good enough for all this. Then we're gonna screw that little valve on there. It's got a little O-ring on it. Make sure that O-ring's on there so you won't have no leak. All this is plastic, so usually just hand tight is plenty. You put a wrench on it, you'll be done broken. Let's see, when I picked that up, my little white washer fell off. So make sure to put that back on there. And it fits in that little groove. Make sure it's down in that little groove the way it's supposed to be. Then you want your valve on and off knob here facing up. I'll get it started here in a minute. When you start it, make sure it ain't cross threaded. If it don't go easy, that means it's trying to cross thread. This stuff's plastic. Once it's started right, it'll screw right on there with ease. Hand tighten that. Make sure the valve's closed. And this is where when we get our pump set up, the hose will go from here to the pump. Alright, next we're going to be putting a valve. And this pool comes with two ports. This is where the water comes out of the pool to go to your sand filter. There's a port here and a port there. And you're going to need your little hoses that's in the box. You got your valve with the T. And the bottom here is where the hose come off it and go to your sand filter pump. We'll lay that on the ground. Have 4 clamps and 2 strainers. We're going to stick the strainers. Now they don't have no washer or nothing on them because of what they go through here is like a little rubber hose. Stick them in from the inside coming through. Do the other one the same way. Next, you'll want to get you a clamp and put over your hose. Slide your hose right onto there. Take your screwdriver and tighten your clamp down. Again, this is all plastic, so don't get carried away tightening it. You'll break it. You'll bust that strainer. I got to move over here so I quit working cross-handed. I'm going to do the same thing on the second one right here. The only thing I don't like about these pools is these little light duty hoses they send. You have to replace them every year because the sun, the UV, makes them brittle and they usually bust. Every year you have to get new hoses. Alright. Now all we're going to do is put our clamp on here. Make sure you got your valve handle where to be pointed up. Slide that right on there. Clamp that one down. Same thing coming from the other port. Now we're ready to start setting up the pump. Alright guys, I done put my shorts on. I didn't start on the pump right now because I got my stepping stones laid out. And I'm going to go on and get in the pool now, even though it ain't actually an inch of water in there, so I can start spreading it out, getting the wrinkles out. I'm going to set the camera over there so y'all can see. But you start in the middle and you work your way to one side, and then you try to work around clockwise from that all the way around. If you go in there and you push this way a while, and then you push that way a while, and then you push this way a while, you're going to be working against yourself. So push toward one wall and then work clockwise. And that way then I can get back out. That'll push the bottom all the way out. I can get back out, line my legs up, and I'll know where I need to put my stepping stones. So right now I'm finna stick the ladder over in there, and I'm gonna point the camera down in there. Hopefully y'all can see me. Guys, this is where I was saying your bottom ain't gonna come out perfectly smooth, because we on sand, and with me crawling around on my knees, it's putting little indentions in that sand. So you ain't gonna get a pool that's gonna feel like a concrete bottom. Not if you got sand. And also, this is the time, if you feel a clay ball or something, sit there and push it down and flatten it out under that line. Guys, I've done a better job on getting the wrinkles out of this one than I did on my own. I made sure earlier that I got it really pushed out, so at this point I didn't have to do so much. And it looks like it's going to be pretty level, looking at the water level. Alright, I done went around, kind of eyeball leveled my poles up, but guys, I'm going to tell y'all, when you're filling a pool up, do not leave that pool, leave it running all night filling up, or while you ain't there. As that pool fills up, you're going to steady need to adjust them legs to keep them level both ways, this way and this way on the bottom. If I just turn that water on and said I'm gone, I'll be back in the morning, you may come back in the morning and your legs will be different angles, and once it gets full, you can't move them legs. So right now I'm finna put my stepping stones under my legs. I'm going to show y'all on one of them what I'm going to be doing. And then I'll get back with y'all after I get that done, and we're going to start hooking up the pump. Now guys, I had several people ask me on my pool video, when I done my pool, is this part necessary? Well, I put my pool up, and this pool here is going to be put up for long term. We in the south, so we don't have to drain and take our pools down. We can leave them up all year, just cover them. If you're doing a long-term pool and you don't want it settling, and unless you putting this pool up on a concrete slab or some dirt that's basically hard as rock, if you putting it on fresh sand or soil or anything you had to level up, I would put blocks under it myself. That's just me. My pool ain't never settled. But what you got to do, you got to dig out enough sand here, and this is why you got to do it before the pool gets too much water where you can't be moving legs. Get that in back there a little bit further. Now they may not be dead in the center of these blocks, but you want them close to the center of these blocks. That way the blocks supporting a bigger area. And that right there is going to be close. Then you can cover your block back up if you want to. But that's what I got to go around the whole pool and do, is 18 of them on an 18-foot pole, 20 of them on a 20-foot pool. Whatever the diameter of your pool is, that's how many legs you got on these Intex pools. All right, all right, all right. All right, guys, this is how the pump comes out of the box. This is the SX2100 that come with this pool kit. It's already on its little base there. I'm gonna turn mine this way for the moment. Then we got the strainer basket here. This will be where the water comes in through this T from the two ports. It's got O-rings on here. That just slides up on there. You take that nut that was inside the strainer basket and you put it on right here. And guys, like I said, all this is plastic. And I know I keep saying it, but don't over tighten it. Tight as you can get it with one hand is enough. Alright, now we're finna put our strainer basket back in there. Put our lid back on so we won't get sand or nothing in it. And then we're gonna put our tank on next. Make sure the drain plug valve there is cap is tight. And it's got a little notch right here that goes on this side of the little platform. That just sits in there like so. This one's all centered in there good. But I got to take the clamp off here, but we got to fill this with sand. I'm gonna sit that right there. And guys, I'm gonna pick this up, but this has got a minimum and a max. That's where you're gonna want to fill it with pool pump sand, number 20 silica sand. But you want to make sure this is centered down in that tank. You want to make sure your little cover's on here, because you don't want no sand going down in the top of that pipe. And we're finna pour some sand in here, but we only gonna fill it up about halfway, and then we're gonna put some water in there. So I got a 50-pound bag of sand. I actually didn't know what this was gonna take, so I bought 2 bags, because mine takes 75 pounds. I figured this one bag's gonna be plenty for this. And if I would open that right, it would have had a pouring spout. You'll get my knife. But like I said, guys, if I would have opened this bag here properly, it had a pouring spout right there, built into the bag. Since I didn't, I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Now, when you pouring this, pour slow, because you want to make sure this inside stays centered. That's about a half a bag. Now we're going to add water so it'll make that sand settle on in. Now I ain't going to add water over my max line because I want to be able to see that line. I actually ain't even going to add water. I'm just going to add it till it gets to the top of this sand that I got in there. Now I know y'all can't see, but I can look down in here and I can see the fill line. So I'm going to fill it right on up to that line. Looks like a 50-pound bag. Put this right on the mark. It may be just a handful left in there, but we're just going to pour it out here on the ground. Couple of cups left in there. Now brush this off so you won't get sand fall down in there when you take it off. And guys, this little piece right here you need to keep in case you ever need to change the sand out. Then you'll have this to put back on there to refill, because it does more than just keeping sand out of this pipe. It holds this pipe center, and it's got to be centered in order to put the 6-way valve on top. So now we're going to finish filling her up with water, about 3/4 way up. Actually, I'm going to put water right up to the top of the sand, which is right on the max full line. Next, we're going to take our 6-way valve here, and it's got right there out, drain, and in. I'm going to set it on there, out. We're going to do it like this right here. So this is in. So that right there is where I want it. Take your little clamp, put back around it. This one here takes a Phillips screwdriver. Snug both of these screws down. Again, that's plastic, so don't overdo it. Alright. Now we're going to come from the pump, coming into the filter with this little short hose. And it's got rubber O-ring washers right here. Make sure they're on there. Again, they make such good products, but these little hoses, they would just make a heavier duty hose on all this stuff, so it would last several years. Good hand tight. Then the short hose that comes in a box like this, we're going to screw on to the screen basket. It's got a black rubber washer fitting right here. Make sure it's on there. This one's got an O-ring. Make sure that O-ring's on there. Slide that hose up on there tight and tighten this up. Then the other long hose will go from your 6-way valve it's got a black rubber fitting on there, make sure it's on. Over here to your valve to your inlet. It's got a rubber O-ring on there, make sure that's on. And guys, that's all it is to assembling the pump. Next will be startup, but we can't do that till this pool gets full of water, because the water's got to be all the way up to here, above these outlet hoses. And one thing I do, I take my valve and I run a string from this post to that post, and I hang this up like that. And I figure I'll do his here in a moment once I find some string while I'm waiting on it to fill all the rest of the day. So guys, that's it for today's videoing. I'll be back with y'all tomorrow or whenever I get the pool filled up where I can start up the pump. All I'm going to do is watch it as it fills, keep my legs level both directions as it slowly fills up, which is going to take, I don't know how long it's going to take, but about bedtime I'm going to turn the water off and I'll come back in the morning and turn it on. I live close enough that I can run back and forth about every 30 minutes to check on it. But I'll get back with y'all when we get the pool full of water and get ready to start that little pump up. Okay guys, the pool, this is approximately 30 hours later. 36 hours later, something like that. And it is finally full enough I can go on and we can continue starting the pump up. But it ain't full yet. It'll take a whole nother day to get it the rest of the way. So starting the pump up, first thing we're gonna do is open our valves. We're gonna take this cap right here off. This is a drain. Open this other valve to start letting water in. We're gonna turn this valve right here around to where it says waste. And we're gonna open the valve here and let it fill up with water. Make sure your caps on your strainer's closed tight. We filled up with water. Now we're going to put this in backwash position. You want to put it in backwash first. Then we're going to hit power. Now I ain't read the directions on how to turn the pump on because set the timers and stuff. And I had to trip the reset button here on the plug-in. I'm going to just set this one for 12 hours at a time. And we got a leak in the pump where I put the valve on top. So we're going to turn this off for right now. And I got to get a screwdriver, undo this clamp and redo the top. So we're gonna close this valve right here. All right guys, I had to redo the clamp. The clamp has got to be right here. You got an ear on top of this valve on each side, and you got to clamp It's just got to be in line with this so it'll tighten up tight enough to seal it off. So now I'm putting it back in backwash. We're going to turn the pump on. And you're in backwash mode. That's what you want to do first. And what it's doing, it's disrupting the sand in there. It would be cleaning the sand, even though this is new sand. You want to do this so to disrupt it. Tear it all up. Then next we go to rinse mode. That'll settle the sand all back down good before you go into filtration mode. You always want to turn your pump off before you change your valve settings. Now we're going to go to rinse mode. And it's got all this root right on top. We're going to turn it back on. Let it rinse a little bit. That's settling the sand back down now. You want to go in the rinse mode. Every time you backwash to clean your filter, you want to go in the rinse mode for a while to settle the sand down before you start it back up in filtration mode. If you don't, there'll be some loose sand in here and blow it back out into your return into your pool. Now that's been in rinse mode for about a minute now. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to push the valve, put it in filtration mode, put our cap back on. Turn the pump back on, and we should be done. Okay guys, so after going and reading the directions on the pump here, I set this for 12 hours. And how the timer works on this pump, it's going to run for 12 hours. And I want it to run for 12 hours since I'm just now filling this up with water. It needs to circulate a lot. It'll run for 12 hours and then it'll go off and it'll come back on in the morning at this same time and run for 12-hour cycles. This pump, you can't set it to where it'll run like 4 hours on, 4 hours off, 4 hours on. If you set it for 4 hours, it's going to run for 4 hours and go off and not come back on till tomorrow morning and then run for 4 hours again. So we got it set on 12 hours. Another thing, I said this pump didn't have no pressure a while ago, but I didn't have this valve all the way open. So now you can see how much pressure it does have, which is pretty good for this little pump. So it's only 0.23 horsepower, and it's enough to run that Intex skimmer there, making it suck water in there to where it's getting trash off the top. So that's really a good plus for the little pump. The pounds is running right there around 10 pounds. Just about every one I ever had any dealings with runs about 10 to 11 pounds. But that's it, guys. She's in the operation mode. I done threw the chlorine tablets in there, floating in the floater. And threw a bag of shock in there to shock it. So now it's just in circulating mode and finished filling up the rest of the day. Alright guys, that concludes the video on setting up the Intex pool, getting your pump started and circulating. All they can do now is wait till the pool gets cleaned up a little bit and get in there and start cleaning and doing their work, what they want to do around their pool. But if you like this little video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you ain't never subscribed, please reach down there, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. That's the best way you can help me grow my channel. You don't never know, it don't cost you a thing. Plus you might see a video pop up one day that's something interesting and helpful to you. Also, one of the best ways you can help me is share my videos on your social medias with all your friends and loved ones. Guys, I got a lot of pool videos in my pool related video list on how to setting up pumps, setting up the skimmer, setting up the Polaris 65. There's several pool videos in my pool related folder. You can go check them out. You might find something else very helpful. But as always, I hope y'all have a great day and a blessed week. God bless. See y'all next time.